But God will not move in this earth, and intervene unless we ask him to do it. Working with God requires a sensitivity to what God is doing and what God wants. I've said before, we were praying in our church for a man who was very sick. He had cancer and he was very sick. And we would pray for him, and he was always either in hospital or at home in bed. We would pray, and he had a Tuesday night prayer. He would come back to life, and he'd feel much, much better. He'd go a bit down the following week. We'd pray again, he'd come back to life. We did this for weeks. And I thought, I felt for this man, and I felt for the situation. Went on for weeks. And then the Lord appeared to me one morning. He said, Neville, I want to take him home, but you're stopping me from doing that. I said, okay. I said, why do you want to take him home? He said, it's none of your business. Okay. But I had the feeling that it was very important that he was taken home at this point in time. So, Tuesday night comes around, the prayer meeting. I said, Lord, how do I explain this to people? He said, just tell them what I said. All right? I said, Lord, you get the blame for this. I said, the Lord told me we to stop praying because the man's, he's going to die. He said, God has a purpose for him on the other side, which I don't know what it is, but we don't pray for him tonight. People were kind of a bit shocked. I said, Lord, we hand this man over to you. That was about 8 o'clock in the evening. By 9 o'clock, he was dead. Working together with God. Times, purposes. We're not clever enough to know everything, I thought, I had a best friend, my best man friend. And he got sick. And I thought, oh, no. And we prayed. I prayed for him a lot. Prayed and we prayed. And then, I had to fly out to do a conference in America. It was in Brother Lenny's church in St. Louis. And as soon as I got on that plane, and there was no way back, my friend died. And so I thought, oh, great. So I get to St. Louis, and my wife rings me and says, he's gone. I said, Lord, I've got to have this out. He's my best friend, It's some friends, which are really good friends, which are hard to come by, right? People you can trust. So I said, Lord, why did you do that? The minute I left the country, why did you take him? He said, because you were stopping him. You were stopping me taking him home. And he said, once you got on that plane, I knew there was no way back for 2 weeks. That's what he said to me. He said, I have more use for him now on the other side. So I said, okay, working together with God. It's more needful for him on the other side. There's a phrase, and it's true, it's a bit overused. God will allow in his wisdom what he can prevent with his power. And that is true. Now, I believe that healing, is part of our salvation. There's healing in the atonement. And I believe all of that. However, God can override in his wisdom, And it's not necessarily because of our unbelief, but it's because his foreknowledge. He knows the future, How big, if God pose this to you now. This Christian man is dying, right? And he can be healed. But if you heal him now, he's going to go further on in his life, backslide, and go away from God. Now, are you going to heal him, or are you going to let him die? What would be your answer? Let him go. Working together with God. That's the way we've got to work into the future. This is what Brother Sauter was talking about. Jesus did only those things, you see, he saw the Father doing. I believe that you're coming an incredible healing movement. Raising the dead will be so common it won't be seen as a great miracle. You know? And people, you know, who don't want it. Another friend of mine died in our meeting. You know? And we had a medical doctor in there, and I said, Lord, he's not going. So we picked him up and sat him on a chair in the front of the church. And we prayed, and we prayed, and we prayed for about 3 hours. And suddenly he went, and we all went, oh, you gotta be kidding me. You know the first thing he said to me? Why have you brought me back? I thought, you ungrateful little... He said, I've been in heaven. He said, I've been talking to a young married couple had just been killed 9 months before. A head-on collision in a car. And said, I've been with them. They are praying for this church continually in heaven. And I want to stay with them. Now, his wife is standing next to me. And I turned to her and said, we're not going to let him go. It's all right. It's like, you know, a lot of things we don't know. Mm-hmm. We need the wisdom of God. We need the mind of God. Mm-hmm. We need the mind of the Spirit. And as we move into this next move of God, that wisdom, that mind of the Lord is going to be with us continually. Mm-hmm. So we can work together with Him. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, most of you, I'm going to put a link to the full message in the description box in the comment section. But it's a powerful message I never was talking about. And personally, I have had several, at least 5 experiences over the past maybe 5-6 years of my, out of my 8 years of salvation walking with the Lord. I've had times, family members who were about to pass on, the Lord told me anywhere from 2 years to a few months before they pass. He either told me in a vision or a dream. And he would tell me, don't pray for their healing. I'm taking them home. Their work is done. I've had people call me to pray for their family member or their friends, a specific situation. I think about a year ago, this one happened. A friend called me to pray for her dad who was dying. When I got off the phone with her, as soon as I got on my knees, I said, Father, before I could finish my sentence, he said, tell her I'm taking him home. His work is done. I mean, just like, there was like, I was like, well, Lord, you're going to tell her because I'm not, because she was like distraught. I didn't tell her that, of course. And then I think a week or 2 later, she called me and said, oh, you don't have to pray for his healing anymore. He's gone. And then I confessed and told her exactly what happened. But you see, this is one of the most difficult part of walking in the prophetic. People think the prophetic is just about giving good news and, you know, God will bless you. You'll be a multi-millionaire. That's one part of the prophetic, but the other part of the prophetic is this kind of message is telling somebody who calls you crying and phone that you must pray for healing for their loved ones. And then you get on your knees and the Lord said, I'm taking and the work is done. What do you say? What do you do to that? I mean, I've struggled with that. I haven't really got to the point where I really tell them, listen, the person going to go. At least never told them. I just leave it like that. And then when they call me, then after the fact, I usually tell them because I don't know how to tell them in the midst of the pain and the anguish. To me, it's difficult. I even had a friend who brother passed, I think about a year ago also. And she called me to pray for her brother healing. But when I started to pray, the Lord said, I'm taking him. I didn't tell her, but after he passed and she was talking, I feel that she could handle it. I told her that she believed me. So I haven't gotten to the point yet where the Lord will tell me I'm taking them, and I haven't told anybody. Maybe a few people I've told, family members who I knew, but I told them after the fact, because it's very difficult to handle this. Anybody who finds it very easy to say, oh yes, the Lord said you're going to die. I don't know what spirit is that, but it's very difficult to pray for somebody to forgive your prayer request, to pray for healing of the loved one, and then you begin to pray and the Lord say, I'm taking them. How can you? It's just very difficult to tell them. Another point, never stress that, which is very important, that we have to also keep that into consideration. That is one thing, you can pray and God can heal that person today. But if he takes them today and they'll make it to heaven, or he healed them and gave them 10 years to life, 10 years life, right? But within that 10 years, at the end of 10 years, they will lose their salvation and go to hell. So which one do you prefer? You want 10 extra years added to their life and you enjoy their life, but at the end they're going to hell? Or you prefer God to take them now, even though it will hurt? Death is painful. It is not the most pleasant thing. I don't care how spiritual, highly anointed you are. It is painful. I'm not going to deceive you. It hurts and it's painful. But of course, you know you will get over it. But which one, as painful as of a decision it is, I would much rather God take them now than to give them 10 years and know that they will spend 10 years, but after 10 years, they will lose their salvation. So if they are sure to go to heaven today, let them go. But if God will tell you, I can heal them and give them 10 years, but 10 years down the line, they will mess up in life and lose their salvation. Which one do you prefer? I've even been given such an option by God, praying for family members and friends. And I chose the first one. I said, no, Lord, take them. It's hurtful, it's painful, but I'd rather cry now when God take them than to cry 10 years later knowing they're going to hell. Which one do you prefer? Like I said, it's a very sobering message. It's very painful, but we have to be able to walk with God. That's why one of the homework assignment that I keep stressing is that one-on-one quality, intimate time with God will begin to open up your sensitivity, your spiritual eyes, your spiritual ears. It will also begin to open up your mind, to have the mind of God, to know how he thinks, to understand some of the mysteries of life and death, to know what he's doing so you can only do what he's doing, to hear what he's saying so you can only do what he tells you to do, so we can live like Christ. We don't do things anymore out of emotions and sentiment. We begin to do things out of divine, specific instruction from God at that moment. Whether it's painful, whether it's hurtful, whether it will cost you some family members, it will cost you some friends, it will cost you whatever. But if it's a divine instruction from God, we have to get to the point where we can hear his voice clearly and run with the instruction from heaven. God bless you. Thank you.